All right, this time we're going to be taking a look at Karachi.
Oh, Karachi. That's a great choice.
Yeah. And, it's not just any ordinary deep dive into Karachi. We're going to be focusing on something very specific.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What's got you so excited?
So, picture this, right? Karachi is hosting these massive cricket events. We're talking about the Tri-Series and the Champions Trophy. Big, big events.
Wow, that's huge for Karachi.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's going to be amazing. Think about it. Tens of thousands of fans all heading to the National Stadium, all the excitement in the air. But then there's the traffic.
Ah, yeah. That's the flip side, isn't it? Big events, big traffic jams.
Exactly. But don't worry, the Karachi police are on top of it. They've got a detailed traffic plan in place.
Oh, that's good to hear. So what have they come up with?
Well, it's all about keeping things moving smoothly.
Yeah.
Especially on those key match days.
Right. And when are those matches happening?
Let's see. We've got February 12th, 14th, 19th, and 21st. And then another one on March 1st.
Okay, so those are the dates to watch out for if you're in Karachi. A lot of fans and probably a lot of traffic.
Exactly. And it's interesting how they're approaching this whole traffic management thing.
Oh, how so?
It's not just reacting to potential problems. It's like a well thought out strategy to proactively guide traffic flow. Kind of like, a dance.
A dance?
Yeah, a dance of cars. They have these designated routes for fans coming from different parts of the city.
Ah, I see. So they've mapped out specific paths to channel the traffic effectively.
Precisely. Like, let's take fans coming from Karsaz Road, for example. It's a busy area leading to the stadium. So they'll be using Habib Ibrahim Ramatullah Road, and then they'll be directed under the stadium flyover.
Smart move, using the flyover to separate traffic streams.
Exactly. And then they end up parking in designated areas like the National Coaching Center and China Ground on Sir Shah Suleiman Road.
Okay, so they've got that route pretty well mapped out.
Right. And then there are those coming from Millennium, another key area.
Got it. So how does that flow work?
They're going to be taking a similar route, Stadium Road under the stadium flyover.
Keeping it consistent.
Yep. And then, just like the others, they'll be directed to those same parking spots.
Makes sense. Efficient use of the existing infrastructure.
It is. And you know what's really clever?
Tell me.
They've kept Sir Shah Suleiman Road open for traffic flow in both directions.
Oh, I see. That's smart. So even with all the extra cars for the matches, traffic can still move on that main road, keeps things from getting too backed up?
Right. That's the key. It's like a main artery for the traffic, and they've made sure it doesn't get clogged up.
So what about fans coming from other parts of Karachi, say Newtown?
Oh, they've got them covered too. Those folks will be using Stadium Road, then they'll turn onto Sir Shah Suleiman Road, and then get directed to the parking areas.
It sounds like they've really put a lot of thought into this. Not just getting fans to the stadium, but also managing all the other traffic in the city, especially the big trucks and things.
You're absolutely right. That was my next point. They have these special diversions for heavy vehicles.
Makes sense. Keep them away from the stadium area as much as possible.
Exactly. So, if you've got a big truck coming in from Sohrab Doth, which is a major entry point into Karachi.
Yeah, I can see how that would cause some issues.
They'll be routed toward Nipa, and then Lia Quatabad, now a 10, and toward Hassan Square.
Keeping them on the outskirts, away from the stadium traffic. Smart.
And then there's another one from PP Chaurangi, another really busy intersection.
So where are they sending those trucks?
They're being diverted toward University Road.
Got it. So it's like they're creating a kind of buffer zone around the stadium, prioritizing the cars, carrying the fans.
That's a great way to put it, a buffer zone.
Yeah.
It keeps things flowing and hopefully prevents any major traffic nightmares.
It makes sense. So they're basically restricting heavy traffic on certain roads during match days.
Absolutely. Some roads are going to be totally off limits to heavy vehicles, like Karsaz to Stadium, Millennium to Newtown, and Stadium Signal to Hassan Square.
Makes sense. Those are all roads leading right to the stadium. It's all about minimizing congestion, especially during those peak times when everyone's heading to the match.
You got it. But even with all this planning, someone might still get lost or confused.
Yeah, that's bound to happen. So what have they got in place for that?
Well, they've thought of that too. They have a dedicated helpline number, 1915, for anyone who needs help.
Wow, so if anyone needs directions or has questions about the plan, they can just call that number.
Yep, someone will be there to help them out, get them where they need to go.
It's great that they've got that extra layer of support. It shows they really are committed to making this work.
It really does. They're trying their best to make sure everyone has a good time and doesn't get stuck in traffic for hours.
Exactly, because no one wants their big cricket day out to be ruined by a traffic jam. So this traffic plan really does seem well thought out, you know? I mean, they've clearly put a lot of effort into it, but it does make you think, right?
Yeah.
It's very car-centric. Have they considered other forms of transportation?
That's a great point. I was just thinking the same thing.
Like, what about the future of managing traffic for these big events? We're talking about ride-sharing, public transportation, maybe even encouraging people to walk or cycle to the stadium if it's feasible.
It's definitely something to consider, right? I mean, this plan is a great start, but we've got to think beyond just cars.
I agree. As we move toward more, sustainable and efficient transportation options, our traffic plans need to evolve too.
Absolutely. This plan is a good foundation, but the future of traffic management needs to be more holistic. We have to be more eco-friendly and think about all the different ways people can get around.
Right, because the goal is to create a seamless experience for everyone, reduce congestion, help the environment, and make it easier and more enjoyable for people to get to these big events.
Exactly. So much to think about. But for now, it's fascinating to see how Karachi is tackling this challenge for the Tri-Series and the Champions Trophy.
It is. And I bet other cities are watching closely to see how well it all works.
Absolutely. There's a lot we can learn from their approach. Well, that's our deep dive into Karachi's traffic plan for the big cricket events.
Thanks for taking us through it. I feel like I've learned a lot.
Of course. Always a pleasure to have you along for the ride. And to all our listeners, thanks for joining us. Keep those wheels turning and let us know what you think about all this.
And until next time, stay curious.
See you all soon.